In the headlines, the DAT says it has been left out of the process of formulating safety protocols for the reopening of school. New DMA president says training youth in manufacturing to be among his priorities. And MP for Soufriere concerned over the impact of gun violence on young men following a deadly shooting in Scottshead Monday night. I am Andrea Louis with the Channel 5 News, back with the details after this.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
Thank you for staying with us. First up, the Dominica Association of Teachers is lamenting its lack of involvement in the development of safety protocols for the reopening of schools. Julian Morris has that story.
Last week, principals were presented with a document titled Guidelines and Protocols for the Reopening of Schools, which was developed by the Ministry of Education in collaboration with IsraAid. Children are returning to the classroom this week, while teachers returned last week to prepare for face-to-face instruction. President of the Dominica Association of Teachers, Mervyn Alexander, says to date the union has not been presented with a document for it to review and give input, especially since teachers have been calling to voice their concerns.
Since we have not received the document from the ministry as a union, it's difficult to say what to know what is in it. I mean, some teachers call here to ask us questions, but we couldn't answer because we had not seen the document, and we still have not seen it. But I mean, they have their concerns, and we have our concerns as well. And we're hoping that when we visit the schools, we're planning to do that sometime this month, we will get a little bit more feedback from them on the matter. I would have thought that even in the whole preparation, they would have sort of involved us as well as a union. And even if they were not involved, but at least when you had it done, let's have a copy so we can see what is in it. We have not seen it up till today.
Despite the gap in information sharing, Alexander admits usually there is good communication between the association and the ministry.
Yes, they employ the teachers, but we represent the teachers. And we have the ages of the teachers at heart. And we have to know what is going on, what you're proposing to staff and to teachers. And if they're not very happy with it, we have to represent them on the matter. And that sort of thing. So, I mean, normally there is very good cooperation, but I don't know what happened this time around. I just have no idea what happened this time around.
The DAT plans to visit schools this month to monitor the implementation of protocols and guidelines recommended by the ministry.
As a national executive, we always try to visit our schools, visit as many schools as possible during the school year. And especially this time, we really want to visit as many, even many more. And we want to do it very early because I know that the ministry promised certain things to be done, and we really want to go onto the plan to see what is happening. Because if there's not much conviction between them and us, we need to go and see what is happening and to hear from the teachers as well what is happening, what they're feeling. So when we visit the schools, we'll talk to teachers, of course. Whether we have the document or not, we'll talk to teachers. And of course, they will give us their concerns. And if they have concerns, we'll definitely take it to the authorities to see how they can address it. Because, I mean, if the teachers are not happy, learning can't take place.
The DAT president is commending teachers for the extra work put into educating children during the lockdown period and urges them to remain committed and cautious during the new school year.
In more top stories, educating youth on manufacturing is among top priorities for the new president of the Dominica Manufacturers Association. We again join Julian Morris with more.
John Robin, who is also managing director of Benjo's CMOS, replaced Severin McKenzie, who served at the helm for 5 years. In an interview with Channel 5 News, Robin said key plans of the new executive include improved marketing, increased export, and raising awareness among the youth on the opportunities available in the manufacturing sector.
The first plan is to basically go around and speak to the stakeholders and to basically find out what are their aching concerns in terms of where they would like to see manufacturing being projected. And having listened to them, I will come together with the new executive we have formed. We'll deliberate on it, and then we would focus on the most critical areas. But one of the areas we have considered to be primary is basically educating the young people. So you're basically advocating for young people to get involved in manufacturing and to ensure that we educate them, send them to colleges, send them to university, get scholarships for them, and at the same time send them all over the world to do attachment courses.
Robin also wants the Local Manufacturers Association to have a seat at the regional manufacturers table.
Most importantly, what we want to do is to set up a regional platform, and how we are going to do that is with respect to becoming part of what happens in the Caribbean. We have not been a part of the Caribbean Manufacturing Association, and immediately we are going to embark on a process to allow for that to happen. And we are going to join with Barbados Manufacturing Association, Suriname Manufacturing Association, Guyana, Trinidad, Jamaica, so that we can be at the table. We can be where decisions are made, where ideas are being disseminated. And then we can learn, and at the same time we can contribute, and we can also look for opportunities.
The new DMA president also plans to position the association to take advantage of already existing agreements between Dominica and overseas-based territories.
We can export to CARICOM with no duty. We can export to the United States. All right, we have a special arrangement with the United States, special arrangement with Canada, special arrangement with the Mercosur, special arrangement with the EU. Yet we are not producing anything of significance to sell to them. Why did we put those arrangements in place? So I think there are tremendous opportunities. We have to lobby with the politicians, lobby with the government, the policy makers, so that we can recognize that we are living in a different time. COVID-19 has presented an opportunity for us to look within and to see what we can do to basically boost our economy so that we can be more self-sufficient.
Dominica's management of the COVID-19 pandemic could place the country at an advantage in terms of attracting foreign investors to government's soon-to-be-launched entrepreneurship visa program. The goal of this program is to attract investments and capital to new and existing local businesses. Foreign investors who start a small business or invest in an existing business will be granted residential status. It is not lost on those behind the program that it is being considered in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, a period of economic uncertainty. Kenny Green has been discussing various aspects of the program with Prime Minister Skerritt.
We also have to look at not prejudicing ourselves on sectors as well. Because, for example, the creative industries, they need support as well. You know, we have a burgeoning musical industry. We have a lot of artists here. You know, we have companies and firms who are trying to do videography and film. So that's, we're going to need to diversify.
And these are groups which normally have challenges with the financial institutions.
Correct. So 50,000 US into any of these businesses will be a huge boon for them. So that's a big factor. But most importantly, they have to go through the process. And I don't want anyone to think that whilst, you know, we're trying to make sure that everybody gets a piece of the pie, that they don't honor the process, because the process is important.
This investor makes the minimum investment in this one company. But the program does not preclude him or her from having an equity investment in this business. So if you have this business where you invest, let's say, $50,000 into it, but that particular investor likes the kind of project or investment that this person is involved in, he can invest further into it.
Yes, he can. I mean, he can make a request to be able to make further inroads into the company and actually have a relationship with them. And that is a good question, because if the investor is coming to Dominica, has chosen the tier one to start, and has decided, okay, I'm going to make the minimum amount of investment, 50,000 US, and it goes into Brown's chocolate confectionery, for example, making chocolate. He can say, you know what, since I'm going to be here beyond the 2 years, I'd like to actually invest further in that business, and he can be introduced to them. But it does not mean that the business owner will automatically agree. So that is one of the things that we have to cater for, which is the fact that it's a market, freedom of market choice, and that even though that the grant has been made by that investor, it gives him no priority from the owner point of view to say yes to further investment.
Member of Parliament for the Soufriere constituency, Denise Charles, says Dominica is losing too many of its young men to gun violence. Ms. Charles released a short statement on Tuesday after 22-year-old Dylan Alexander of Scottshead was shot by a masked gunman Monday night.
My fellow constituents, a horrendous crime has occurred in our peaceful community, but we shall get through it. We are losing too many young men by gun violence. We have to continue to pray for grace and mercy for our men, hurting families, and our communities. My people of Scottshead, hold strong. The enemy will not have his way on our soil. Let's continue to support each other. We shall remain a peaceful, friendly, and hard-working community. May God continue to watch over us and comfort our families who have been devastated by gun violence. One love.
The CDPF is investigating the fatal shooting incident which occurred at 8 p.m. on Monday at Scottshead. According to information, Dylan was sitting amongst friends at Marginet in Scottshead when he was shot. The lone masked individual walked up to him and shot him multiple times in his torso. Dylan fell to the ground. He was officially pronounced dead at the scene by the district medical doctor. A post-mortem examination is underway. You are watching the Channel 5 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
Welcome back. The Dominica Association of Industry and Commerce, DAIC, is appealing to the public to participate in an innovative program geared at growing the country's sustainability. The Virtual Island Summit, which runs from 7th to 13th September, will focus on topics such as climate change, post-pandemic economic recovery, tourism, energy, and education, to name a few. Over 10,000 island stakeholders will participate in this summit, which Executive Director of the DAIC, Lizra Fabian, believes is important to the local context and learning from other similar islands around the world.
DAIC partnered on this event because we saw that this is an excellent platform for our members, our private sector, and general public to take advantage of. This is an excellent platform for sharing best practices, discussing important issues that not just impact us in the Caribbean, but impact other islands around the world. This will definitely benefit us in Dominica if we apply the concepts that we've gained to improve our decision making on a local level, and we believe that this will lead to greater sustainability of Dominica.
Speakers at the summit will include the Prime Minister of Fiji, President of Guyana, and Minister for Energy in Scotland. Fabian believes participation in this summit will help the country on its path to resilience.
If we truly are to be a resilient nation, we must learn from as well as contribute to the discussions at such events, as well as we need to implement the concepts that we've learned. The IC encourages all to take great advantage of this opportunity, as we believe that we can learn from others as well as share the lessons learned within our context so that Dominica can indeed be more sustainable.
The film Uncivilized, created by Dominican videographer Michael Lees, will also be showcased during the summit. Head of the organization spearheading Dominica's entry into the Entrepreneurship Visa program says infrastructural projects completed and anticipated help make Dominica more appealing to potential investors. Head of Advanced Global Partners Kenny Green has been exploring the potential benefits of the Entrepreneurship Visa program to investors.
First of all, there is the fact that they're going to be applying for the process through that path. So it's an entry into the naturalization process. And so that's going to attract them. Secondly, you have the fact that, after those two years, not only will they become a citizen, but their assets will be safe in Dominica. That's a big factor. Dominica is still one of the safest, financially safe countries. I mean, most people don't know, for example, in other banks across the world, when there's economic problems, most people lose the bulk of their savings and deposits. I mean, in the UK, you only have insurance for the first £80,000 of your money. For investors, that scares them, especially if they've got large deposits. So Dominica is a safe jurisdiction. And I think that safety, the fact that, with your guidance, the health, the hospital and the health clinics are due to be completed, and the impending international airport, those are signals for people to be able to take an investment or take a chance on Dominica.
Sure.
The Entrepreneurship Visa program will present benefits to local businesses as well.
When we looked at the local businesses, in some cases, the capacity to absorb 50,000 US, I mean, it's a big deal for many small local businesses who are on the brink of doing something but cannot get that money, because right now the banks are asking for one-to-one securitization versus the finance. No matter how attractive the interest rates are, that is a blow for many smaller local businesses. So in essence, they're going to get a true access to capital, and that's a big deal. At the higher levels, when people are resident here, we can't underestimate again the value of residence and consumption locally. These people, whether they're going to be investing in a new business or a joint venture or otherwise, once their families and themselves are here, are going to consume, and the goods and services that they're consuming will be local.
And the WHO will take more time to determine the effectiveness of antibodies developed in those who have already had COVID-19. The question of the possibility of individuals being reinfected with COVID-19 was raised with a WHO panel on Monday.
The question is about what we understand about reinfection. So let me first start with what we know about what happens when somebody is infected with the SARS-CoV-2 virus. When somebody is exposed and somebody is infected with this virus, their body develops an immune response, an antibody response, which develops a week or two, sometimes a little bit longer after that infection. And that antibody response provides some protection to that individual, and it protects them against reinfection. What we're learning about right now, and there are many studies that are underway, really excellent studies that are following individuals over time, looking at how long that antibody response lasts. First of all, how strong that antibody response is, depending on the type of disease you experience, whether you have asymptomatic infection, whether you have mild disease or all the way through severe disease. And we are seeing that people, even with asymptomatic infection, still develop an immune response. What we need to better understand is how strong that is and for how long it lasts. There are a number of studies that are underway that are following individuals, the same individual over time, and there are some very promising results from these studies that are showing that the antibody response lasts, it stays strong for a certain number of months. We're only 8 months into this pandemic, and so we haven't followed individuals for many, many, many months, so we don't know how long that robust immune response lasts. We do have some case reports of individuals who have appeared to be infected a second time. There are a couple of case reports that we are aware of, ones that have been confirmed by full genome sequencing, which essentially they had a sequence at the first time the person was infected, and then they did a sequence again at the second infection, or presumed second infection. They've compared those two sequences, and they see enough of a difference to say this is a new infection. There's an example from Hong Kong, and there's an example I've seen in a preprint from the US, and there are a few other examples, a handful of other examples, a small number from a couple of additional countries. In those individuals, what we are looking for is what type of an immune response did they have on their first infection, if that was even measured, and then at the time of the second infection, did they have measurable antibodies? And I think that's really important for us to really understand.
Flow helps you stay connected to what matters. Simple plans and a better network mean that you can enjoy 7 days of unlimited social messaging, 3 gigabytes of reliable data to use as you like, 700 local anywhere calls and texts, with the always-on prepaid plan, all for $29. Keep your number when you switch to Dominica's most reliable LTE network. Buy wherever you top up. Switch to Flow. It only gets better.
We are strong, we are resilient, and we will get through this together. But these are stressful times, and it's important to also practice good self-care. It's normal to feel overwhelmed, anxious, or afraid, but there is hope. Reach out to someone, connect with your friends, stay in touch with your community, and know that you are not alone. We're in this together. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
A new in-home experience is here. All your services bundled into one simple plan. Faster, more reliable Wi-Fi so that you can binge, play, and stream uninterrupted. Unlimited Flow local landline minutes mean you can talk and talk and talk. Plus the best in TV entertainment with over 120 channels and 29 in HD, all for $160 a month with the new all-in bundle. With Flow, it only gets better.
To end the news, the headlines again. The DAT says it has been left out of the process to formulate safety protocols for the reopening of schools. New DMA president says training youth in manufacturing to be among his priorities. And MP for Soufriere concerned over the impact of gun violence on young men after a deadly shooting in Scottshead Monday night. Feel free to access or past the newscast on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the entire production team, I am Andrea Louis. And to all of our viewers around the world, thank you so much for watching. Join us next time.